is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Celebrity Afterlife Report, the only show on the entire internet that gives you the up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebs. My sources scour the next world to get the latest scoops so I can update you about what's happening on the other side. I am the Celebrity Medium, and it's my pleasure to bring you this week's report, so let's have at it. LaVoy Finicum, one of the men who illegally occupied an Oregon federal bird sanctuary for 41 days, has now installed himself as the self-appointed sheriff of the still unfinished town started by Judy Garland, who planned for it to be an all-female community. Now, longtime listeners know the whole crazy story, so I won't recap it here. But the latest is that, at least for the moment, Finicum and a horde of like-minded Patriots have taken over the gated community, saying that they intend to run it according to their own laws, and they will not listen to any outside government. Now, the irony here is that there is no formal government in the afterlife, so to many outside the walls of the town, their stridency seems kind of pointless. According to the beliefs of Finicum's fellow travelers in earthly plane America, the sheriff is the highest authority, which explains, I guess, why LaVoy has been seen in recent days patrolling the perimeter of the town on horseback wearing a star-shaped badge. Rumors are circulating that Finicum and company are trying to recruit conservative-minded celebrities in the next world to move to the town so that it can be a focal point of their anti-government movement. The whole thing sounds a bit like barking at the moon to me, but, I guess it would make them happy and they don't bother other people. Who really cares what they do behind the walls of their little play fortress? While most people arrive in the afterlife soon after departing the earthly plane, some take a bit longer for reasons no one seems to know. One of the latter was former Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Scalia didn't formally arrive in the next world until several of our days after he departed our plane of existence. And when he did arrive there was a fair amount of hoopla, as one would expect for someone of his stature. Although the large crowd in attendance chanted, "Speech! Speech!" at him, Scalia demurred and spent the next hour or so shaking hands with well-wishers, according to my sources. After things finally settled down, Aaron Spelling, the former producer of The Love Boat and Charlie's Angels, introduced himself to the justice and made him an offer right there on the spot. A source who overheard the conversation tells me that Spelling proposed that Scalia be the host of a new TV series modeled along the lines of The People's Court and similar shows. The show is tentatively titled Constitution Court. Now, the premise is that litigants would face Scalia and that he would rule on their cases using his strict interpretation of the original intent of the writers of the U.S. Constitution as the guiding principles in his judgments. As I mentioned earlier, there is no formal governmental structure in the afterlife, therefore, obviously, there are no real courts. So, while Scalia's rulings wouldn't have the power of law behind them, people in the next world are expected to honor their agreements, and besides, the whole thing's just entertainment anyway. My source tells me that Scalia said he needed a few days to think over the proposal, and I will, of course, let you know what his decision is just as soon as I hear about it. Things are getting interesting again in the story of the alleged feud between Merv Griffin, his fiancé Tammy Faye Bakker, and Babe Ruth. We've been following this story for months now, since baseball legend turned radio shock jock Ruth sicked his fans on Merv and Tammy Faye's TV show for having Osama bin Laden on as a guest. Rumors have been circulating in recent weeks that the whole thing was a hoax set up between Merv and the Babe to hype ratings for both shows. Sources behind the scenes say that Tammy Faye was kept in the dark about the whole thing so that she would have an honest reaction when Ruth's Bambinos set off stink bombs in the TV studio. Now, while neither Merv nor Ruth are talking, the whispers are becoming louder, especially since Tammy Faye has been conspicuously absent from the set of the talk show. Merv told his audience the other day that Tammy was, quote, under the weather, unquote, but many in the next world aren't buying it. Now, while people there cannot die or suffer serious injury, they can get colds and other minor maladies, but folks are pointing to the fact that the last time she was on the show, she was absent her engagement ring and seemed very cold toward Merv. Some people close to Tammy Faye are whispering that she has called off their engagement, but so far there is no official confirmation of that. This story is definitely heading toward a train wreck of some kind. The only question at this point is, what kind? Speaking of train wrecks, we haven't checked in on Whitney Houston and her afterlife husband, President Abraham Lincoln, in some time. As you may recall, the two walked off their reality show, The Crazy Life of Abe and Whitney, over the producer's decision to cast Richard Nixon as the storyline boyfriend of Whitney's daughter, Bobbi Kristina. Now, Mr. Nixon, apparently encouraged by the producers of the show, stirred up a lot of anger on the part of Abe and Whitney during his first few weeks on the program, causing Abe and Whitney's walkout. The show has continued under the new name The Crazy Life of Dick and Bobby, and sources tell me that the ratings continue to be very good. Despite rumors that Tricky Dick has no real feelings for Bobbi Kristina, he plays the part of the doting boyfriend very well, I'm told. Word is that she, however, has fallen in love with him, telling the press that she hopes he will propose to her in the near future. It has also been reported that Whitney is furious over those stories, and she says she has not been in touch with her daughter since she and her husband walked off the show. Okay, that slams the lid on this edition of The Report. Please come back next week when I'll have more up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebs. In the meantime, please help spread the word that The Report is available for free on iTunes and the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.